Have you ever wondered why you can haggle over the price of some things, but for others, the price is just the price? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the hidden economic blueprint that shapes pretty much everything we buy. And it all kicks off with a really simple question.
No, really, think about it for a second. You can go to a farmer's market, you can check out different tomatoes, and you can probably talk the seller down a little bit. But have you ever tried calling your electric company to negotiate your bill? Yeah, that's just not a thing. So what's the deal?
Well, the answer comes down to how a market is built. Its structure. This blueprint is what decides everything. How many sellers there are, how similar their products are, and most importantly, who's really in charge. You, the buyer, or them, the seller.
So let's start our journey at one extreme end of the spectrum. This is a world that's so competitive, it's almost a fantasy. We're talking about the world of perfect competition.
Okay, for this perfect world to even exist, you need a very specific recipe. You need tons of companies selling the exact same thing, making it impossible for any single one to have any real power. And this leads to the #1 rule of this world. You don't make the price, you just take whatever price the market offers. You have zero control.
You can kind of see this with things like agricultural goods, like corn or wheat, or even on the stock market. You've got thousands of sellers all offering a product that's, for all practical purposes, identical. A single farmer can't just decide, you know what, my corn is worth double. Nobody would buy it. They have to accept the going rate.
And that defining feature has a name. They're called a price taker. It means you are totally at the mercy of the market. It's a world where the seller has basically no power at all. But what happens when we flip that script completely and give one seller all the power?
Welcome to the total opposite end of the spectrum. Forget about thousands of sellers. Here, we're talking about just one. This is the world of the monopoly, the ultimate price maker.
And the contrast is just, it's night and day. Perfect competition has a ton of firms, and it's easy to get in the game. A monopoly, it's just one firm with a totally unique product and these massive walls that keep anyone else from even trying to compete. The whole power dynamic is turned upside down.
In a monopoly, that one single company is the entire industry. They sell something you can't get anywhere else, and those high barriers to entry, we're talking about things like patents or just insane startup costs, they build a fortress around the business. This is what lets them become a price maker and call all the shots.
And we see these out in the wild. Your local water company, that's a classic example. I mean, can you imagine having 5 different sets of water pipes running to your house just so you could choose your water provider? It wouldn't make any sense. Same thing with a drug company that has a patent on a new medicine. For a while, they're the only game in town.
All this power lets monopolists get really creative with their pricing, using something called price discrimination. Ever wonder why students get a discount at the movies or why buying in bulk is cheaper? That's it in action. They can split customers into groups, offer volume discounts, or in their absolute dream scenario, they could even try to charge every single person the maximum they'd be willing to pay.
But let's be real for a second. Pure competition and pure monopoly are pretty rare. The truth is, most of the businesses we interact with every single day aren't at the extremes. They live in the messy, complicated, and much more interesting middle.
Okay, first up, we've got monopolistic competition. I know, that sounds like a complete contradiction, doesn't it? But it's actually the perfect name for a market that has competition because there are lots of companies, but it's monopolistic because each one sells a slightly different product, giving them a sort of mini-monopoly on their own unique thing.
So in this world, the whole game is about one thing, standing out. Just think about all the restaurants in your city. They all sell food, right? But they compete by being different. The type of food, the vibe, the customer service, the brand. Your favorite pizza place isn't the same as the sushi spot down the street. And that little bit of difference gives them a little bit of power over their prices.
Now for our last market structure, the oligopoly. If monopolistic competition is like a crowded party, an oligopoly is more like an exclusive club with just a few very powerful members. Here, the whole market is dominated by just a handful of big players. This isn't a free-for-all, it's a strategic battle between giants.
And this creates this really fascinating chess match. Every move you make, whether it's on pricing or new ad campaign, you have to think, okay, how are my rivals going to react to this? If one airline drops its prices, you can bet the others are going to respond almost immediately. You're not just running your own company, you're constantly playing against your competitors.
So there you have it.
The two middle grounds, monopolistic competition with lots of firms trying to be unique, like restaurants, and then oligopoly with just a few big firms locked in this strategic dance. Think about companies that make smartphones or cars or even fast food. It's just a few massive players running the whole show.
Okay, so we've taken a tour of all 4 of these market worlds. But why does any of this actually matter to you? Well, it matters because this whole framework explains so much about your daily life as a consumer.
When you lay it all out like this, a really clear pattern just jumps out. As you move from perfect competition over to monopoly, what happens? Competition absolutely plummets. Your number of choices gets smaller and smaller, and the power of the seller to set the price just skyrockets.
From the gas you put in your car, that's an oligopoly. To the brand of cereal you buy at the store, that's monopolistic competition. This invisible blueprint is always there. And once you understand it, you can finally start to see the economic forces that are shaping your world.
So now that you see the blueprint, here's a little challenge for you. Take a look around at the things you buy and the services you use every day. Which of these 4 worlds do you think you're living in the most? The answer might actually surprise you. Thanks for tuning in.